This is Rick with your 1721. Whoa! Got the Ravin R20 sniper package, Vortex 1 to 8 by 24 millimeter scope, jack plate underneath that, and we'll talk more about that. 34.5 inches overall, 7.1 pounds. Basically, a package packed full of power and accuracy. Unbelievable. Couple things I'd like to talk about. Instead of using a drawstring, you're able to hand crank this. So here's your hand crank. Very, very simple to use, very efficient to use. Couple other things that I'd like to talk about as far as the arrows. Only use Ravin arrows. They're set for this crossbow. That's just the way it is. They are 400 grain arrows, and this crossbow is cranking them at 431 feet per second. If 5 being the highest stars and 1 being the lowest, this is a 5-star product. It does everything as advertised. This is really the first time as a professional trick shot artist when I use certain different, whatever it be, crossbows, guns, air guns, whatever. This is one of the first products that I looked at as advertised, things that were said, that I look at and say, wow, as advertised, jack plate works as advertised. This particular model right here was shot through the chronograph at 431 feet per second, set the jack plate for 431 feet per second, and I'll go over that. That means as I adjust the jack plate per yard, not per 5 yards, per yard, as I tick this, and you can hear it ticking there, as I adjust this, it's adjusting the elevation of the scope, and it's just doing what it does. And I can tell you this, you can take the target, put the target wherever you want out there, use your rangefinder, bing, bing, hit the rangefinder, and you see what the distance is to target. And let me tell you something, you click it to 57 yards, it puts it on 57 yards. So much so, the reason I'm going on record as saying this is because I experienced it. We put a lifesaver on a balloon at 100 yards. Being a trick shot artist, I thought, all right, Ravin, can you back up what you're telling me? Second shot hit the lifesaver, and I kind of was like, okay, wow. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to take a playing card, because it's what us trick shot artists do, a playing card at 100 yards. 15-mile-an-hour wind we were dealing with. It was an off and on, so it was a gusting wind, so it was really playing havoc with what we were about to do. But I thought, you know what? You're a trick shot artist. You got to make this happen, whether it's windy or not. So we got to see what we can do. With a field point, we cut the card third shot at 100 yards. This crossbow can do what you want it to do. I give it a 5 stars. I just wanted to give you a little intro here on this, and then I'm going to go over some of the features so you can see the features and how they work. And I'll explain the scope a little bit, and then we'll talk about the jack plate, and then we're going to shoot some targets, and we'll shoot a target. I'll just shoot 3 different arrows, and we'll walk it through there. So, and we'll set the arrows. Let's shoot at a standard crossbow. We'll go 50 yards and shoot 50 yards, but we'll shoot, I'm not going to shoot it the same to show you a grouping. I've split too many arrows already, and they're not the cheapest arrows, so we're having a ton of fun with this. But that's enough talking. Let's go over some features. Okay, well, here we are. We got the bag here for a reference. Here is your hand crank. I'm right-handed, go on the right side, but if you're left-handed, go on the left side. I like holding back here. You can hold here. So basically, to get started, here's your draw. So what you're going to do is take your hand crank. This is important. Give it just towards the scope, so you're coming clockwise towards the scope. Push your finger right there on the release button, and what that does, I can get this to let go right there. What that does, now you can drop your drawstring, okay? And you want to make sure you have it down there. You hear that click? Okay. So now that's in place. Now I put my cocking handle. Now watch. You hear it? It has a pressure in there, so it will know when we get the full draw. It's gone. clicks are gone. Now the clutch engaged. Now it's locked in place. Take this off, and your safety is automatically on. It comes back, it's on. Okay? And that is how you cock your crossbow. There's a bunch of things that were important. The release button, you go towards the scope, takes a little tension off. It drops the drawstring that goes down, locks onto your string to pull your string up. And then that's how you can cock your crossbow. Now you're ready to shoot. Now you're ready to insert your arrow, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you what's important with that also. Okay, now we'll go over. I know this is sounding pretty simple, but here we go. So we're going to load our crossbow now. Now, on a lot of crossbows, when they're loaded, not the Ravin, aiming fletch is up on your standard crossbow. On this crossbow, you want to take your aiming fletch and make sure it's down. You see this? You make sure you're back past there, because this is where your string comes and hits. So you definitely want to go in there, and then you go in and you'll feel it. Click. And that is how you load your Ravin crossbow that way. You don't put your fingers anywhere in there. You keep them back here, and you load it from here for safety wise. You make sure you load it that way. Aiming fletch is down. Okay, so you want to make sure it's down. So that is how you load your Ravin crossbow. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the jack plate and that you understand what's going on here. So right here is your jack plate. It's actually this right here is your whole jack plate. The scope is attached here. You can see that there's a feet per second right here. So right there is your feet per second. Here's your 20 yard, here's your 30 yard, and I can crank this around so you can see as I crank this around the whole way to 100. So you're able, once you shoot your Ravin in, your R20, once you shoot in, you know you're shooting it through a chronograph. This tape goes on here, and this will set, you set this right here, this will set what your elevation is the whole way out through, and you've shot it on left and right. All you have to do is use your rangefinder and just follow this, and you have right here in the back, it has marked very clearly right there, just right as you turn. You can hear it click. Now you can change that and have it go quiet. Look, see? Now it's not doing anything. Go back to, and then this locks it. You actually have a lock right here. So let me just show you that again. Hear it click? Okay. Now we can go to silent. Look. In the field kind of use. So they thought of almost everything with this. And then you can set your yardage to whatever you want. This is a great system. From 100 in, I'm not saying about shooting whitetail at 100 and having jump a bowstring or anything, but 431 feet per second is pretty fast. My standard for shooting a whitetail, 50, 60 yards with a crossbow, especially one like this, I don't know if I go much further. I don't know what a lot of you hunters out there would do, but I don't see going much further and counting him, jumping or her. But you can also see this is illuminated, so you can go red or green with your scope right here. So you can, the dot will light up, and it does intensify depending on low light conditions. The size of the crossbow is perfect for everything. So there is your R20, and basically that is it in a nutshell. If you're really looking at it, you just set this to 20, shoot it in at 20, and then just follow it the whole way out to 100 yards, and it will do exactly what it's supposed to do. Well, that's enough showing you, the things ins and outs of this. Now we'll do some shooting at, we'll go 50 yards, and we'll put deer target up, and we'll just shoot 3 different arrows in 3 different spots. All right, let's get to shooting. Okay, now we got set up for the 40-yard accuracy test. So we got numbers on there. We got the 10, the 8, and the 5, liver, and heart. So we'll just shoot 3 different arrows at 3 different numbers on the target. So, all right, it might take a little bit to get this going, to shoot all three, but that's the way it is shooting crossbows, so. Okay. All right. All right, 40 yards. All right. We'll shoot it to 10 first. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, now we'll move to the 8. Okay. Reason I'm not shooting at the same area, I'll just split an arrow. That's how it works. I've done it 3 times now and taken 3 arrows out. Trying to shoot a nice tight group to give you guys a tight group on film. And I ended up splitting arrows, and that's enough of that. So I decided to do it this way. I hope you guys are okay. So I'm just shooting at numbers. All right, now we'll shoot back at the 5 in the liver area. And a little bit of wind. Okay, let's go take a look down here. Now it's pretty much, you can see as we come up, I'm a little low on the 10, but if you want to get a good look at the 8, I think we put that, and then we're a little off on the 5, about a ½ inch off there. But there you go, Ravin at 40 yards, of course, doing its job. That's just 40 yards, that's easy. We could shoot, you know, like I said, we can shoot 100 yards. You can see that hit dead center where I was aiming. I played the wind here a little bit, but it'll shoot the exact same hole. It's no problem, it'll easily do that. So this is Rick with Shooter 1721. There's your 40-yard test with the Ravin R20 sniper package.